Did you know the loudest sound in human history was so powerful that people miles away claimed they heard voices inside the explosion? Voices no one could explain, words no one could identify, whispers that have never been decoded. This is the true story of the day the earth screamed, and something may have screamed back. Before the explosion, the island of Krakatoa had been restless. Animals left the shoreline, birds vanished, and fishermen reported something else. The water around the island began to pulse, as if breathing. Dutch researchers stationed on the nearby island of Java recorded strange tremors, small, rhythmic, not like earthquakes, more like footsteps, massive ones. When the team sent divers into the shallow waters, they found cracks in the seafloor glowing with heat. The temperature around the island climbed. And every night, a deep, rumbling vibration rolled through the villages. Lanterns swung on their hooks, plates rattled. People woke up gasping from dreams where something huge was moving beneath them, but no one was prepared for what was coming. On the morning of August 27, 1883, the island didn't erupt, it detonated. The first explosion was so violent, it deafened every person within 10 miles. Witnesses described a flash brighter than lightning erupting from the sea. Boats capsized from the shockwave. Villagers were thrown to the ground miles away. Some survivors said they felt the sound before they heard it, a crushing force pushing through their lungs, knocking the air from their bodies like being hit by a giant invisible wave. And then came the second explosion, the one that made history. The blast was so loud, it ruptured eardrums 40 miles away. It shattered windows in Singapore, nearly 600 miles distant. It was heard in Australia, in India, over 3,000 miles across the ocean. Sailors on distant ships were knocked to the deck. Some thought their vessels had been struck by cannon fire. Others believed the world was ending. Barometers around the world spiked, dipped, then spiked again. The pressure wave was so powerful, it traveled the globe 7 times, 7 full laps of the earth, like a ripple searching for something. But the strangest part wasn't the noise, it was the silence that followed. A silence so total that sailors wrote they felt cut off from the world, as though they had slipped into a room with the door closed. A silence broken by whispers. Hours after the blast, crew members aboard the near Brabant reported hearing faint murmuring in the wind. Not waves, not echoes, voices. Multiple crew members described the same thing, a low, layered whispering that grew louder the closer they sailed to the blast zone. Language like rapid, metallic. A British ship reported identical phenomena. Men crowded the deck, scanning the water for survivors, but the ocean was empty, nothing but drifting ash. One officer said it sounded like a crowd speaking behind a wall. Another said the voices grew clearer each hour. One sailor swore he heard someone whispering his name. Every official inquiry dismissed the reports as trauma. But the logs still exist, dozens of them, from different ships, different countries, same descriptions. The whispers were real, but no one could explain them. The sky turned orange for months. Sunsets looked like fresh blood smeared across the horizon. Temperatures dropped worldwide. The moon appeared blue. Animals fled entire regions. Birds flew in circles until they fell from the sky. Even the oceans changed, currents shifted, and waves behaved erratically for weeks. But the strangest phenomenon was recorded by weather stations across the globe. Intermittent vibrations that didn't match any known natural pattern. Not seismic, not atmospheric, something else. And when scientists traced the readings back, they all intersected at one point, the exact origin of the Krakatoa blast. It was as if something had been awakened. Hand was still pulsing beneath the earth. Modern scientists have theories: brain trauma, overpressure, hallucinations, auditory distortions. But one detail always gets ignored. It's a detail buried in a survivor's handwritten diary. He wrote that the whispers were not random. They were rhythmic, repeating every 7 minutes, in perfect sync with the pressure wave circling the earth, as if the whispers weren't inside the blast, but timing themselves to follow it, riding the shockwave like a carrier signal, increasing, decreasing, searching. The loudest sound in human history ended over a century ago, but the data, the diary entries, the pressure anomalies, they all suggest the same unsettling possibility. The Earth didn't just release energy that day, it received something. And if the whispers were real, if they truly echoed across oceans, across continents, carried by the shockwave around the world, then whatever spoke through that explosion wasn't from the sea, or the sky, or the volcano. It was something ancient, something waiting, something patient. Something that found, for the briefest moment, a doorway loud enough, wide enough to let its voice be heard. And maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for the next one. The next scream of the earth, the next door, the next chance to speak again.